traders, Akil Stokes here. Welcome back to another episode of the Trading Coach Podcast. Today we're going to talk a little bit about portfolioization and producing multiple streams of income and really how the two work hand in hand, whether it's business or in trading. But first, I want to say a big thank you for all the support that you guys have been giving the show. The numbers have been amazing. We're reaching more and more viewers each and every week. We're steadily climbing the rankings on iTunes, and I just appreciate the support. Now, if you want to support even more, if I buttered you up enough, do me a favor, leave this podcast a review on wherever you're listening to it at, especially on iTunes. That helps the podcast the most. And also take a second to share it. Wherever you're listening to this at, there should be a little share button. Click it. Put it on social media, spread the word, and tell me what you like about the podcast. It helps me produce more ideas. And of course, if you're listening on YouTube, leave a comment below as well. Also, while we're at it, while we're doing all this shameless promotion, we've got some new free content over on the website, tier1trading.com. We've got an Ascension webinar, which is awesome. We've got the Trade to Measure workshop on there, which is amazing. So make sure you head over to tier1trading.com. Click the I want free stuff button or whatever it says and indulge. All right. So back to today's topic about creating a portfolio and managing multiple streams of income. These topics came to mind really because of some of the responses I had on social media. There was one on a YouTube video that said, Akil, do you make money from trading or teaching? And I didn't look at it as a negative comment. I know the first thing that stands out is like, it's another one of these guys where they're saying, hey, if just because you're a teacher means you can't actually trade, which isn't truthful at all. But I didn't take it that way. But my answer was both. Both. And we'll get into that a little bit more later as far as growing a business that can bring in multiple streams of income. But the other question came from a trader that I'm working with who shot me a question and actually shot me a video. He's been making his rounds back testing. And this trader is someone that really has been putting in the work, right? I know I work with a lot of you guys out there. I know some of you are kind of putting out the work. This guy is really putting in the work. And it was exciting to help him on this next part of his journey where he's starting to really put together the numbers and start to figure things out about his trading future. And the main question from the email, I'll read you kind of the second part of it. He says, Akil, what sort of return should I expect from testing this strategy on one pair if I'm risking 1%? I'm not sure. I'm sure this varies widely, but can you give me a range to kind of shoot for? I just want to know if I'm in the ballpark at all. And he shot some figures out there. We'll just leave those private. And he says, my backtest results seem to show that I'm better off skipping. I guess that goes into kind of the details of what he's doing. But the point is, in his video, he was a little bit disappointed, or not disappointed, but he was trying to figure out if what he's doing is worth it. Have you guys ever been at that phase where you get all excited, you're learning, you do something new, you start back testing it, and you're like, man, this is gonna be awesome, and make so much money, and then you start testing it, and the reality of it is you're not making a 100% return a day. It's actually making a lot less. You may test a single pair on a single strategy, and you may make 2% a year, and you're sitting back like 2%. What? That's not worth my time. And I would agree. I would not trade. I would not spend it or invest my time trading the markets if the ceiling of what I can do is only making 2%. I'd much rather just pay someone else to invest it for me and spend that time doing another skill that can produce me a lot more money and then trade in my free time as a hobby since I enjoy the craft of trading. But what I explained to the trader is that you gotta think in the terms of a portfolio, right? When you actually go out and trade, and there are traders that trade a single pair. There's a trader I work with, Tony, who I think he just started adding a few more, but for the longest time, he's traded a single pair, and he's just massively destroyed that pair and has extracted as much profit as possible out of it. But most traders create a portfolio, and what that means is they trade multiple pairs, either multiple strategies, multiple pairs. There's a whole balance of how many strategies versus how many pairs, and how many pairs versus how many strategies you can have. We'll save that for another episode, or for you guys that are on the chat or on the Tier 1 platform. Maybe we'll do that in a private Q&A one of these days. But understand that the real growth of trading comes from putting everything together, right? You have strategy A may make 2% on this one pair. But what happens if strategy A produces that 2% on all 20 pairs that you test, right? Now, is it still kind of this underwhelming number which should be frowned upon? Or have you now created a massive return for yourself, plus some sort of a natural hedge in trading it in bulk, trading a portfolio? And again, you can do the same thing for multiple strategies. If strategy 1 is making 2%, if strategy 2 is making 2%, strategy 3 is making 2%, right? Individually, it may not be exciting, but when you put them together, you can actually produce a solid return. You can produce your 20, your 30, your 40% returns in the market. And of course, when you add your money management on top of that, you can take it to the next level. So it's very important to think of things in that aspect, right? Small little wins plus small little wins plus small little wins eventually make big wins, right? It's kind of ridiculous if you think about it. I shouldn't say that, but to make a massive amount off of one thing. And you see the same thing in the business world as well. If you look at the most successful people in the world, right? The richest and most successful people in the world that have kind of developed and grown businesses on their own, do they concentrate on one thing? Do they have a single income stream? No. Multiple income streams. Maybe it started with one, but they've developed it into others, and that's how they've gone from being rich to creating wealth. And you can do that same thing in your trading business, right? Your trading business is very similar to creating a portfolio that you're actually going to trade. And it all starts with the skill of trading. So you use this skill, and I wish you guys can see this live. I have a big old flow chart and everything. But you have this skill, this centerpiece, right? The sun of your galaxy. You have this skill, which is trading. And eventually, as you practice, as you dedicate time, effort, and energy, you become good at that skill, right? You do your testing, you create a portfolio, just like we talked about, and guess what that skill starts doing for you? It starts producing income. Now, with this particular form of income, this income is closely associated to the amount of time and effort you invest, right? So it's not necessarily passive income because you have to work for it. Now in trading, we always say we can make money while we sleep, but you still have to invest a certain amount of time to do analysis, a certain amount of time to actually execute and manage trades. And even if you're trading something like an automated system, many of you guys are like, well, just do an automated system. You still have to check that automated system to make sure your trades are firing off the correct way, as far as entries, as far as stops, as far as targets. You have to go in and dig into the numbers and make sure you make adjustments to that automated system as the market conditions change. So you're still doing a fair amount of activity. But the point is, you have a skill that can now produce you income. So you have a single stream of income. Well, think about this for a second, guys. And I want you to think, and maybe comment below if you're listening on YouTube, or shoot me a tweet if you're on Twitter, hit me on the gram. What else can that skill develop? What other income streams can that skill produce, right? Well, we can start with a few obvious ones. Well, you could start a signal service, right? A signal service is a service where basically you provide trading signals to others. So essentially what you're doing is you're doing your own active trading. So you're not really doing any extra work aside from developing the technology to get your signals out there, or if you're using something like an email, or what are these things, WhatsApp, stuff like that. I have my old person moment. What are these things youngsters are using? If you send out a handwritten letter, licking the stamp properly yourself, and then mail it out each time the signal is ready. But you can start a signal service doing no more work than what you've already you're already doing, right? Because you're already performing analysis on your own, for your own. You're already producing income based on the analysis that you're doing. And if you're starting a signal service, unless you're pretty shady, most likely you're not sending out signals unless you're actually taking the trade, or at least unless you're actually doing the analysis for it. So you can easily do essentially the same amount of work, add on a little bit of time to type the signal in and email it out or whatnot. And now you have a second income stream. So you've got a skill in the middle. You've got trading for yourself. You've got signal service. All right. So now you've got two income streams. For your signal service, you're charging essentially a subscription fee. So you're saying, hey guys, $20 a month, $50 a month to subscribe to my signal service. And then obviously you got to put time into marketing if you really want it to grow. But the more people that sign up, the more income you get for doing the same darn thing you were doing before, right? So what else can we add there? Okay, well, what if you happen to, you run in these circles, right? You run in these circles where you're rubbing shoulders with the elite of the elite, or maybe the level below the elite, perhaps. And you find traders that aren't interested in following signals, but they are interested in having their money managed for them, right? They've got this money. They want their money to grow more than it would in a regular investment account, and they want you to do it for them. Well, now, if you're willing to take on that duty, you can be a money manager or account manager, depending on how you legally want to set it up. And that produces another stream of income, because now you can charge a fee for managing an account. If you're actually managing money, you can take commissions if you're doing so in the correct legal sense. If you're trading depending on what asset classes you're trading and where you're at, of course. But now, guess what you're doing? You're doing the same thing you were doing before, because you're still doing the same analysis that you were for your personal trading, but now you're taking them in your personal account. You're shooting a signal off to your signal service, and you're managing an account for someone else and taking commissions and or an account management fee for doing so. 3 streams of income, all coming from one skill, right? Now, let's say you're pretty good at this, right? You've become really efficient. And by no means, I should say this first, disclaimer, right? No means am I saying do all of this. I think there are conflicts of interest. I have the luxury of being on both sides. I started off as a trader just of my own money. I then went into account management for others, and then I went into teaching. And I find it very difficult to try and be the best teacher for my clients and be the best trader for me personally at the same time. It's a tough balance of time. The same thing could be said from managing money and trading your own account. More similarities there, because you're still focusing all within the realm of your own trading in a sense. You're not really dealing with others' problems. But when I was managing money, there was so much stress, and I was younger. This was a much younger me, so maybe things would be different now that I've had 10 more years of experience in the market. But I was under so much stress that it took all of my focus just to be good at managing money. It took every ounce of focus that I had just not to blow their account, right? But to actually make them a really good return as well. But again, that was a younger me, and I'm much more secure in my trading. I'm much more secure in my psyche, my psychological battles. So maybe it's not as difficult as I say it, but you just want to be careful about that. But back to the point. So we got three income streams, right? You got trading, this big bad sun in the middle, and that's branching off, right, into trading your personal account, running a signal service, or trading your personal account, making profit, running a signal service, making profit, managing money, account management, making profit. What else can you do? Well, let's say you got this free time, right? You're a swing trader, so everything you do is the higher time frame. At this point, you quit your job because you're making buku bucks out of your 3 income streams. Well, what if you say, hey, I want to teach others how to do the same, right? And a lot of that is it's a business, but it is a value thing as well. You've seen, and this is kind of my story, you've seen that you've been able to drastically change your life for the better because you've mastered this skill. and you see others out there, you want to give back, you want to help, and you feel like this is a way that you can help others. You can teach others a skill that they can use to create a life and grow a business for their own. So you want to teach. Now, well, Akil, if those are your values, how come you don't teach for free? I do teach for free, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But if you're going to be a great teacher, and I touched on this a little bit before, it takes a massive dedication of time, energy, and effort. You're not giving away that for free. Let's just be honest. If you're doing a good job of teaching, your services demand a fee. Now, it should be a fair fee. You don't want to price yourself out of the market and not give people a chance to work with you, but you deserve to be paid for your effort. It's any business out there is like that. If you're one of those people that say everything should be for free, you're probably the same people that say, oh, college should be for free. Oh, I should be able to learn how to be a doctor for free. No, because people are investing their time, taking their time away from something else that they could be using to produce income to teach you how to do something that you can use to produce income. So no, it shouldn't be free. But there should be free parts of it. But anyway, as I digress. So now you decided to teach. You got all this free time, you quit your job, you're living a life, you're bored now because you're a workaholic. You thought that life would be great, just being able to do nothing, aside from your trading. And you're kind of like me, where it's like, I need to do something at all time, or I feel like I'm dying. So you decide to teach. So you open up maybe a private mentorship. There's many ways you can teach and coach, but a private mentorship where you take students on one by one, and I guess I used to do it. You can fly out and teach people or bring them to the office. I guess now you can do it, through Skype and over, Zoom calls and stuff like that. But you're taking personal clients. You're investing maybe an hour a day with each of them or something like that, however you want to, schedule it. And now you're making money from your consultant fee. Income stream number 4. So let's recap. Trading, skill, middle, branch off, trade for yourself, money, branch off, signal service, money, branch off, account management, money, branch off, teaching, money. The last part, and again, there's many other ways you can go. Shoot, you can write a book for all I care and sell your book. But the last part is taking advantage of your free training. I am a believer of offering value. Yes, the value that I offer at the highest level must be paid for because I do a damn good job at teaching and I deserve a fee, right? But I understand that there are people out there that can't afford our services. We work in a global industry, right? I work with traders from 120 different countries, right? The exchange rates, I know this because I'm a Forex trader, the exchange rates for the US dollar are different depending on where you're at, right? For someone in the UK, it's a lot easier for them to enroll in our coaching services than it is for someone in South Africa. It's just the way the currency exchange works. So over the years, I noticed that, and I always believe in giving back, especially for younger people that may not have a dime to your name. And I do a lot of free stuff. One of those free things are my YouTube channel. Over 400 videos, 600 videos on my YouTube channel. I don't know how many there are. 1 million, right? On my YouTube channel. Something else free that I offer is the Trading Coach podcast, perhaps. Both of those things, if you want to, can be monetized as well. YouTube, you can put ads on there. If you want, you can sell you can sign up for the YouTube ad program where they kind of do it yourself. If you want, you can sell yourself in a personal way, right? I get an email every day where it's like, hey Akil Stokes, you have an awesome YouTube channel. I see that you have this many subscribers and this many views on your recent videos. Would you like to partner and blah, 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 blah. Basically, they're offering me money if I promote their stuff at the beginning of my video. So, hey guys, welcome to today's Trading Edge. By the way, today's Trading Edge is brought to you by X, Y, and Z Broker. If you want to trade with the best spreads, do so with X, Y, and Z Broker, right? Or throw like a little commercial in them for at the end, right? I don't do that. I do have the normal ads running just because I didn't have them for a while. And then I said, well, why not? If I'm going to make money for doing nothing different, why wouldn't I just make some money off of YouTube? And we can throw that into the marketing budget that I have. But you can do that as well. So you can monetize your free content as well, right? Including the Trading Coach podcast, or if you were to start a podcast, right? Again, I don't do it here. The format isn't right. Typically, I want these to be kind of shiny thing syndrome type of video podcast episodes where we come in, we come out. We don't hold you too long. Typically, the longer ones are going to demand a better fee as far as advertising goes. And honestly, I just don't want to advertise on my podcast. I don't know if it's going to be like that forever. For the right price, I probably would shamelessly sell out if it's something I trust, of course, and use. But I just feel like, when my podcasts are averaging, 10 to 20 minutes, I don't necessarily want to waste, 30 seconds promoting something else for no good reason, or even split it up in the middle or something like that. I don't know. Again, that may change in the future, but I like it clean, and I get off on so many different paths anyway that, I want to keep you guys as focused as possible. But you could do the same thing. You can monetize your podcast. And if you guys heard the episode I did, I don't remember when it was, but it was a bonus episode. That's what it was, a bonus episode. And there's a video on the YouTube channel. Give me a second. Let me just click and see it real quick. But I was talking about developing a business, and I forwarded our traders to the site Entrepreneurs on Fire. And the site is great. I'm going to look for the video here so you can see it for you guys watching. It's called How to Develop Your Business. If you go down on my YouTube page, go down to the section that says Special Events and Interviews. It should be the last one on there. Or not the last one, but it should be on that main page. It's titled How to Develop Your Trading Business. And it takes you to a site called Entrepreneurs on Fire. And where it's a guy named John Lee Dumas who does a great job of being transparent with what he's been able to earn through his podcast, whether it's advertising, whether it's selling a journal, a product, coaching. And that just gives you a good idea of what you can do from to monetize your podcast, monetize your free education as well. So to wrap things up, right? You can monetize a podcast. You can monetize a YouTube channel. You can monetize your free training. You can be an educator and make money that way, whether it's an educational service like what we do at Tier 1 Trading, or whether it's kind of personal coaching. Got to be careful with personal coaching from a legal perspective, but check with a legal professional before that. But it could be personal consultantship. How about that? You can run a signal service. You can manage accounts. You can trade for yourself. You can do all of this stuff, right? Which may give you a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. But when it comes together, you've just created a business. You've just created a company, right? You've just created a corporation where you have a single skill. You were at the middle doing a single skill, and you're taking that single skill and doing a million different things with it. And you have money coming in from each of those things. And more importantly, just like a portfolio where we talked about different strategies, different pairs, and how they kind of help each other, even from a hedging perspective. Having multiple income streams hedges you dramatically. Because at the end of the day, this is what I value most from education, right? At the end of the day, I'm a very consistent trader. My equity curve has looked, it gets to the same place each year. It from start to finish, it moves differently, but it gets to the same place each year, right? With that being said, income from trading is inconsistent, and we can't control that. We've got very slow markets this year. I'm probably about 10% or 5%, 5 to 10% less than what I'm usually at this point of the year on average. And it's nothing of my fault. It's not me. The markets are just moving slower. I can't control that. So if you're in a position where you don't have consistent income, and instead of starting to freak out and get those psychological battles where how am I going to pay the bills, how am I going to do this, how am I going to do that, having those multiple sources, those multiple streams of income help to really soothe that pain. Because even if your trading isn't going well, you've got five other sources that are making up for that. Maybe you lose a big account. Maybe that's not going well. You've got 4 other sources that are making up from that, at least allowing you to tread water until you get back on your feet. So at the end of the day, for you guys that are serious about trading, think about your business the same way you would about your trading. If you're going to do the work, create a portfolio and hedge yourself that way. Really have multiple tactics and tools and techniques and pairs that you can use to extract profit out of the market. Do the same thing for your business as well.